for me, after my son Jesse died, I lost the ability to be anything except just broken. And 4 years later, Angie called and said she was writing this book and she wanted to get together for coffee. And in the course of our conversation, I told her, remind me, if I ever have to walk through something this hard again, that God was faithful before and he will be faithful again. And 10 days later, my daughter, Emily, died.
Firefighter mode, which is that I just kind of took charge of things, shepherded people in and out. I got to be really good at getting people out of the house and, made sure that the kids had clothes, that for the funeral, meals were coming in, those kind of things. And firefighters are super important right at the beginning, because you got to have that. But at the end of the day, they don't have to invest a lot emotionally, because when that fire is over, they're going to go home and wait for the next fire and go on and do another firefight. And builders are the ones that come alongside and stay. They're the ones that do make the emotional investment, which is costly sometimes, but they're willing, they come and they stay. I just wanted to say one thing about going into the holidays. This can be a really tough time of year for people who are grieving. And sometimes we don't think about it because maybe it's been a few years since the loss or whatever. But you need to think about the fact that there's always going to be an empty stocking. There's always going to be an empty chair at the table for these folks. And don't forget about that. Honestly, in the kind of traumatic grief that Elaine and I are talking about, you don't recover from that. You're changed forever. You're different. And so, there's always going to be a sadness in you that wasn't there. How could there not be?
Right.
And so to acknowledge that, I wish that more people in the world could understand that you don't just pick up and move on. You never move on. You move forward. Right? But you never move on. Of that person's loved one. Like if I had memories of Emily, which I did have some memories of her, I shared those with you because you know what? You have all the memories that you're going to get, right?
Right.
And so you want mine.
Right.
Yeah, you want mine. So don't be afraid to say their name. Don't be afraid to talk about them.
Right. Not only do people who are walking alongside you not really know what to say or do or what you need, oftentimes I didn't even know what I needed, and that could change quickly. A lot of times for me, the days leading up to the holiday were actually worse than the holiday itself. It was the anticipation, the dreaded anticipation of the day. My experience has been someone who comes to me who's not trying to fix me or trying to tell me how to grieve or to grieve differently. It really didn't matter what they were doing. If they came to me with an attitude of, I love you and I want to help you.
Right.
After Emily died, I had a friend who lived out of town and she called me every single day for a year. And sometimes I would answer and sometimes I wouldn't. And it didn't matter to her whether I talked to her or whether it just went to voicemail. She just called me every single day. That was it.
But this scripture is from 2 Corinthians 1, that's verses 3 and 4. And it goes like this. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our affliction, so that we will be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with the comfort with which we are comforted by God.
A verse that says, this momentary light affliction is nothing compared to the eternal weight of glory that awaits us. And this world's really hard. It's been really hard for me, full of grief and sorrow. And I'm just thankful that there's something better to look forward to.
Yes.